Okay, so obviously we had the Krebs forecast last week, which talked about the market, and obviously Anne-Marie Lurie did an incredible job of going over that. Don't forget to download that report to take a look through it so you can educate your clients on what's expected. But basically the theme is this: we're expected to have economic growth this year, but it's going to be offset a bit by some of the mortgage changes and maybe even some of the interest rate hikes. So we're kind of watching this and going to kind of test the waters and see how it's going. Might be flat this year, we'll see. But take a look at that, and we are going to have Anne-Marie Lurie on next week to talk a bit more about the rental market and things like that. One of the things that we've been talking about over the last weeks, though, is that we had this 2-week lull because of Christmas and New Year's. And one of the things that we saw now what we're seeing, is that lull is behind us. So the rolling 30 days is now, February 3rd when we pull the stats, or February 2nd. It's on the Friday before the meeting, all the way to January 2nd. So we no longer have that holiday period in here. And just like we were predicting, the numbers now have improved markedly. And in fact, we're seeing listings. We saw listings come down this week. I'm not saying that's a trend, but we saw a big uptick in listings coming on, so that might have stabilized a little bit. We expect more coming on the spring market, but the sales have actually offset the inventory week over week, and that's really cool to see.
Yeah.
Cool.
Great.
Let's take a look at the actual numbers here. So price of oil down slightly to 65.06, and the Canadian dollar holding strong at 80.47 cents US.
We are down 8 listings. But we are currently sitting at 4,819 in the Metro Calgary area. Red Deer similarly down 11 listings at 529.
That's so great to see. So great to see, because we have an inventory problem right now in different segments of the market. So bringing those off is going to help. And we see that with the Calgary months of inventory. Looking at the absorption rate, again, keeping in mind here, a balanced market is 2.5 to 4 months of inventory. Overall, sitting at 4.8, so in a buyer's market being driven primarily by condominiums, but single-family homes back in that balanced market territory. I expect this to continue to improve. 3.71 months of inventory, and condos obviously a little bit slower at 7.12 months of inventory.
Surrounding areas months of inventory: Okotoks sitting at 6, Airdrie 5.16, Cochrane 7.86, Strathmore 8.07. Sundre 6.45, Chestermere 5.44, Red Deer 5.94, and our benchmark price $432,300. I just want to say one point on the benchmark price. So while we were at the conference, I was asked to host a roundtable regarding the Canadian real estate market. So there's a bunch of different roundtables. There was somebody from the United States, Panama, the Philippines. There was a ton, and people would rotate, and then you would talk about where you are. One of the fascinating things. And you did something like this too. When I look at our benchmark price, and obviously I'd probably say 60% the most about our market, and then a little bit about, but right now, the average price per square foot in Vancouver is $1,560, and in Toronto it's $1,000. So when I was talking about our pricing, because we did have somebody from Vancouver and we did have somebody from Toronto sitting there, it was our housing might have well been free.
Yeah.
Like it just blew people's minds.
It's like 1/3 the price compared to Vancouver.
Isn't that incredible? And it's not vertical. You actually have a backyard. But it was fascinating because all of the people, there were so many people from the U.S. And even other parts of the Caribbean where people are looking to move to Canada, and parts of Asia, and talking about our market to other people who aren't in this. Are like, what a great place to live, to be able to live where there's that. I mean, in terms of immigration, like, we are on the uptick. Our economy is actually, on the uptick. The amount of space that we have, the affordability, like, people are just like, wow, Calgary, like, you are so lucky.
Yeah, stability of the banking system, jobs right now. We got, obviously, the mountains, things like that. There's so many things going for Alberta, and that's overall. So,
and you don't really think about that until you listen to people nationally, internationally talk about their markets, and you sit back and have this moment being like, it is really cold here.
Yeah.
But other than that, we're pretty
tolerate
lucky.
The cold. And Red Deer is the same way. I mean, I know that I would love to live as close to a lake community like Sylvan that Red Deer has. That's not the only thing going for it. Obviously, it's a very great place to raise a family, but having access to Sylvan Lake.
Number one city.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Number one city. I mentioned that too when I talked about Red Deer being the number one city.
Also, we are going to be asking. There was requests for adding the benchmark price for Red Deer. Red Deer doesn't actually have a benchmark price because of the HPI. They don't do it for the Red Deer marketplace, but we are going to be putting in the average price for Red Deer. So we are going to be adding that slide. Look forward to that in the coming weeks.
Perfect. Thank you for addressing that.